Please, hands up, just for my understanding. How many of you can understand English? Please, hands up if you understand English. High in the air, please, everyone. If you don't understand English, please put your hand up. How many is that?
That's 3. So far I can count.
4. So you tell me what to do. Our managers are here. Work out what to do. Do I have to stop and then French translation? I don't mind either.
Yeah. It's easier for me, but I can also translate at the same time.
It's entirely up to well, you know, if other people come in, they can't understand English, it may be a problem. I don't know if they will. But of course we haven't got all night. There's a lot of topics to discuss. We're going to start with singing a song on page 79 of this songbook, or maybe it's on a board somewhere.
No, the board is not there.
Okay, so you better get some more songbooks.
Okay.
Here's a few here, and I don't know if it's the same page in all of the few, so someone have to bring more songbooks.
79, huh?
Here it is. Just play the harmonium, please. Someone else can pass the books around. Jai Radha Govinda, Madhava Krishna Bharam Jai Ki Jai. Yehanilo Premadana Karuna Krishna. Yehanilo Srinivasa Acharya ki jai. Shri Janananda Pandit ki jai. Shri Vidyadas Goswami ki jai. Shri Gopastami ki jai. Shri Gopastashtami ki jai. Gaur Prema. All glories to the assembled. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvistesha Sanyavani Astracha Deshatari. So, what shall we do? There is a translator. What shall we do? We've got 45 minutes. Really speaking, I don't want to go too late.
I can translate at the same time if you prefer.
For the devotees, we're sitting together.
On est trois pour parler anglais. 3, 4, 5. Good. Small.
Otherwise, I'm willing whatever you say. I'm just thinking of the time.
I'm going to translate at the same time.
Okay. So I will speak slowly.
Thank you. Yes. Possible.
So this is a song by Narottam Das Thakur talking about the associates of Lord Chaitanya and how he's missing their association. He wants to smash his head against a stone and give up his life, and it's natural. Okay? Is that slow enough?
Yes. Yes, that's good.
Good speak. Sometimes devotees speak that fast. We first of all thank you for coming, and on this very auspicious day, some of you have come from a long way away. We have Massimo, and his good wife. They are living, huh? Saint-Tropez. Saint-Tropez is where all the billionaires live. So we have amongst us today residents of Saint-Tropez from Italy originally. And others have come from some have come on Nohant-Fontaine? I think pronounce it Nohant-Fontaine? So we have two families one or two families from there. Some from Tours. And where are you from?
Italy.
Italy also. Also come from Italy. So many from different places. Where are you from? Huh? Oh, you're from Italy. Half the temples from Italy. No, I don't know the only name, so I can't identify. France. Okay, good, France. And you're from France too? Yes. France. Also France. France? France. France. Mostly everyone else is from France. Switzerland. India. America. Anglais. Yeah. Sort of. Yeah, secret, hidden secret. And I'm also from Anglais, England. So the song we just sung is a very, you can say, we may just sing it initially, but it's a very deep song. just like we in our little lives, some things are deeper than others. Relationships can go very deep sometimes. And naturally, we get emotional. When something goes well, something doesn't go well, we get very much affected. When we lose our dear ones, it can be heartbreaking. We see that even with animals. Even an animal. Sometimes when a person loses their pet, they're heartbroken. And also the pet. When the pet loses its master or whatever, it also sometimes becomes very, very depressed. There's a relationship, spiritual connection of some kind. It may be through material reasons, but the living entity by nature has his emotions are there. So that's the material side. The spiritual side, which with this song is about spiritual lamentation. Generally we understand from, if we read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna doesn't recommend lamentation, does he? In fact, he makes it quite clear to Arjuna, do not lament. Arjuna was feeling lamentation. He said, no, this is not good. Ashokati Nakamashati. Rise above this lamentation. He's talking about material lamentation. But everything material has its source on the spiritual platform. Even lamentation. Everything's there on the spiritual plane. The difference is, on the spiritual platform, everything is in relationship with Krishna. On the material platform, our lamentation is in relationship to ourselves. And this song is in relationship with Krishna. The author, Narottam Das, is lamenting. He's lamenting you could say, the absence, not in the heart, but around us, the absence of great devotees of the Lord. He's lamenting the absence of Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Lord, and many wonderful devotees, in whose association we can enter into a loving relationship with God, Krishna. They churn us. They help to remind us we're not this body, that's a simple thing. But we have a relationship with Krishna, an eternal one. They help this, in their presence we may be able to remember that. It's the most precious relationship. It's their eternal relationship. It's the most precious thing we can receive in our human form of life, is the opportunity to associate with a pure, eternal associate with the Lord. So we get their association. Sometimes we take it for granted. And then when we lose it, we feel, oh, Agni Day Prabhu, I'm sure you must have felt similar with Srila Prabhupada. Why didn't I take more advantage? You ever felt like that? Why didn't I ask that question when I could have done? Why didn't I go when I could have done? Why didn't I go to India when Prabhupada was there in the last month? Many questions come up. Why? Whatever it is, it is. So he's lamenting like this. So why we sing this song today is because today is just like we have our birthdays. Maybe you celebrate your birthday. Generally, people do not celebrate their death day. Generally not. Maybe today is also a big day in France, in May. If you went on the road today, you would have seen many people honoring the heroes or the fighters of the First World War. Today is the day when the First World Anniversary, when the First World War came to an end. It's not that it ended today, it hasn't been going on that long, but today is the anniversary. So it's honored. maybe in a rather solemn, sober way. And today we honor the day when three great, eternal, I mean we're all eternal, but these are eternal associates of the Lord. They don't come in this world like we do. Why do we come in this world? Well, I'm giving a clue in a sense. It's not exactly the answer, but I'm giving a clue. What am I doing? Yeah, what am I looking for? Huh? Oh, not exactly. What am I looking for? I mean, kind of a happiness. Huh? Have a guess. You should know me by now. Huh? Cup of water. There's probably one there, but I haven't got my glasses on. There isn't one. It's just now coming. Maybe before the class ends it will come. Okay, it's just now coming. Here we go. So, like that, living entity is looking for something for me. And Krishna provides it. And it's called the material world. When we desire to, say, enjoy, the nature of all of us, as someone over here, I could see who, somebody said happiness, something like that, is the nature of the soul, Anandamaya Vyasati. Means every living entity is pleasure seeking. The nature of every living entity to be happy. Relief. We call relief happiness. It's the nature of every living entity to be happy because God is the reservoir of pleasure. He's a source of pleasure. By nature, He's all blissful. And we are in connection with Him, ours. The jiva does have this propensity, constitution, to try to experience separation from the Lord, aversion to the Lord. And so the Lord provides this opportunity for any living entity who wills. So by our will, by the will of the Lord, we are under the influence of the material energy. Krishna arranges this material energy for our endeavor to find satisfaction, fulfill our desires, see ourselves in His center. The Lord from time to time appears in this world to give us a reminder, an opportunity to rethink, as do His eternal representatives. In our recent history we have some historical knowledge of personalities like Jesus Christ and others who came into this world for that purpose, to help us to rethink, reprogram our lives, and redirect our objectives in life by reminding us, by their living example, by their teachings, so on, to redirect or to connect again with the Supreme. Our actual constitutional position, spiritual position is service. In this world we're also serving, but it's not directly in relationship with the Lord. We can directly serve, love, relate, whatever, in relationship with Krishna or the Supreme. So they guide us how that can be awoken again, how we can wake up from our sojourn, our dream-like sojourn in this world. So today we're honoring the day when three of those personalities appear to, let's say, wind up their pastimes in this world. They never die. Their bodies may appear to be, whatever, no longer acting. We call it died. But the soul never dies. And one who's an eternal associate of the Lord simply moves on to this next service to the Lord. We move on according to our karma. So today one is known as Srinivasa Acharya, another is known as Janananda Pandit, and another is known as Gadadhar Das Goswami. I don't know how much time There's not much said about Janananda. An associate of the Lord, Navadu, follower of Lord Nityananda, and great devotee. But Gadadhar Das Goswami, because it's, so when we lose something very precious, naturally we feel unhappy. So there's nothing more valuable than the association of spiritually realized souls. They can really give us what we're looking for because they have it. If you don't have something, it's hard to give it. Right? It's like if you need some money, we can ask Massimo, he must be a billionaire living in San Jose. But he's not. Don't have €1 billion, do you? Huh? Massimo?
Yeah.
You have €1 billion? He said yes. Oh, okay. He's working there. But if you want money, you have to go where money is. If you want something, you have to go to someone who's got it. So if you want spiritual help, you have to go to someone who can help you. You have to go to a doctor. If you want medical help, spiritual help, you have to go to someone who's got it, who knows. Krishna says you approach self-realized soul, someone who's seen the truth, because they have it. They can give it to us. Or they can give the direction how it can be awoken in our own consciousness. So these personalities like Dhananjaya Pandit, 500 years ago, they were present on this planet, serving the Lord, enlightening countless other living entities in India. Gadadhar Das Goswami, I won't say much, but he was famous because he was so pure that even the Muslim magistrate, one known as Qazi, like a local magistrate, very important person in those days, even he was converted by Gadadhar Das. Normally he would So one day Gadadhar came to his house, knock on the door, wake up sleeping soul. What are you doing here? What are you doing? He got really angry. But when he saw Gadadhar, his heart softened because Gadadhar was so inner, pure, so pure. Even he was astonished to see the presence of such purity. And then Gadadhar said, you're wasting your life. You should chant the names of Hari, the names of the Lord. I said, oh, not today. Tomorrow I will chant Hari. He didn't he was trying to put it up and say, Gadadhar Das, just in ecstasy. You've already chanted the name of Hari today. Yeah, she said, Gadadhar became his follower. Just by his presence, people would surrender. We don't have that potency. We can pass it on, whatever message, but these great persons, just in their presence sometimes, people would just surrender. Even with Prabhupada, we saw many times, just being in his presence for a while, you just surrender. What to speak of the other great devotee that we're honoring today, this day is most prominently known in our line, Srinivasa Acharya. Srinivasa Acharya appeared in this world, I don't have my notes. His chronology and timing is not that important, but they're useful. So he appeared sometime in this world before the departure of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Chaitanya would have departed, 1534, I think, in our Western country. So maybe he appeared in the 1520s. And nice history. Lord Chaitanya is the name of Krishna, if you don't know, who appeared in the world around in 1486 on our calendar. And he came to teach devotional service to Krishna, especially through chanting. So at one point in time, in around about 1510, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided he would take sannyas. I'm not going to get into describe what that is in detail, but it basically means to live a very renounced life. Celibate, single, renounced life, dedicated to preaching. So Lord Chaitanya did that to spread the holy name more widely, at least in India and now beyond. So when he was taking sannyas in a town called Katwa, there was one, he had countless devotees, you could say. One of those devotees was hankering, he didn't live there, he lived somewhere else. He was hankering to meet Lord Chaitanya. So he was coming to meet Lord Chaitanya in his hometown of Navadvip. But on the way to Navadvip, he passed through this town of Katwa. And when he reached Katwa, he had a shock. He saw his Lord there in Katwa, just about to shave his hair off, or have it shaved. And he heard he's taking sannyas. He couldn't believe it. This devotee was, oh no, why? But somehow or another he was stuck, he was there watching everything. And then when Lord Chaitanya received his sannyas name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, this devotee just couldn't stop chanting. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Chaitanya. He was going on and on. So from then on, everyone called him Chaitanya Das. Lord Chaitanya then left and went traveling to Puri. Later on, that devotee, now known as Chaitanya Das, went with his wife to Puri to see Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya recognized him. He was very happy to see him. Arranged his accommodation, everything. Told him to go and pray to Lord Jagannath in the temple, which he did. And the next days, few days later, he left back to his home in Bengal. Lord Chaitanya was very happy. He said, I know, he told his secretary, I know exactly why he's come to see us, but he has another reason too. He very much wants a child. He and his wife are getting older and they have no child. And he prayed to Lord Jagannath. And he said he will have a child. And that child will be known as Srinivasa. He will be like, practically like the second half of Lord Chaitanya, the effulgence of Lord Chaitanya. Extraordinary son. So sure enough, they went back to Bengal, and after some time the child was born. That's a celebration, of course, for most people. The child was born, a most incredible child. Immediately everyone could see he was what's called Mukta Purush, an eternally liberated soul. He had lotus eyes, broad chest, broad forehead, long arms down to his knees, golden complexion, absolutely immaculate form, and all the symptoms on his hands everywhere of a eternal associate. People used to look for these things in those days. So he grew up. Automatically, everyone must realize this child is no ordinary child, and he was absolutely wonderful. Picked up everything. He was a child who was studying under Dhananjaya Vachaspati, a very great Sanskrit scholar, who actually said, I have nothing to teach this child, he already knows everything. I'm just an instrument. He knows everything already. Not like we have to learn everything. They go through the learning, but actually all knowledge is there in a pure form. Just maybe not yet appeared, but it's there already. So like that, and after some time, in the local neighborhood was a great associate of Lord Chaitanya named Narahari Sharakar, who when he heard about this young child, he came there and of course was very happy and started to give association to his child because Narahari was a close associate of Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip. So the child got that wonderful association to hear all the glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very much wanted to to get that association of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he wanted to take initiation for Narahari. But Narahari said no. He said, Lord Chaitanya told me that you have to take initiation from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So the time will come, not now. But Narahari said that he should go to Jagannath Puri to meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he set off towards Puri, but fate had it, and it was a repetitive situation in the life of Srinivasa. He spent a long time reaching Puri. He wanted to visit the houses of various devotees of Lord Chaitanya, to meet Vishnu Priya and so many great devotees who were residing still in Bengal. And he took a long time to reach Puri. Unfortunately, on the way, he heard that Lord Chaitanya passed away, left the world. Not died, just ended his pastimes in our, as far as we could see, on this earth. And of course, he missed the chance to see Lord Chaitanya. But then he received direction, sometimes in dreams, sometimes directly, that he should take shelter of Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit was one of the most intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya, who was absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srinivasa was told that he should learn the Srimad Bhagavatam from Gadadhar. So he did. He went to Puri and he found Gadadhar Pandit, who very happily received him and said, yes, I would love to teach you the Srimad Bhagavatam. But unfortunately, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was left, and we only have one manuscript of the Bhagavatam. And because Lord Chaitanya has left, unfortunately, this one manuscript has been ruined. Because ever since the Lord has left, whenever I look at the Bhagavatam, I cannot help but cry. And the tears have just ruined the manuscript. We'll have to get another manuscript of the Bhagavatam. There were no book printings in those days. Everything was handwritten. Big job. Sometimes the devotees here go on the street to distribute books. Right? Janananda? Yes? Imagine if you had on the street and said, look, I've got this copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Here's a pen and 2,000 sheets of paper. You can write it if you want to sit down here, you can copy it. How many books would you distribute like that? Zero. Even amongst the devotees, you probably do zero. That was how it was then. Copies were very few. Handwritten. So hearing was an important thing, but he wanted to read the Bhagavatam. So anyway, he did. Sent a message. He sent a message. Narahari Thakur said, yes, we have a copy here, but you have to send somebody to bring it. So Gadadhar Pandit sent Srinivasa back to Bengal. And yes, he got the copy, but again, he took his time going back to Puri, visiting different devotees on the way. And in Puri, before he left, he visited this one, King Pratavaruda, and so many others who were still there, the house of Ramananda Roy, and so many great devotees were there, Sarvabhauma. He went to all their houses, he wanted to get their association, and he took his time. He got the volumes of the Bhagavatam, but then he heard, before he went to Puri, that Gadadhar Pandit left the world, devastated. What to do? He missed the chance again. Missed the chance again. It's difficult to remember all these things, but he got a message either directly or indirectly that he should proceed to Vrindavan and take shelter from Rupa and Sanatana. The great Goswami followers of Lord Chaitanya were living in another place called Vrindavan, the holy land where Krishna appears in this world. Many of them were there. But at that time he took shelter of Narahari and was still, there was a teenager at this time, he wasn't ready quite to go. His parents were still there, they were also great devotees of the Lord, and so he was staying there in Bengal. But after some time, the Rupa and Sanatana, Lord Chaitanya appeared to them and told them, you have to give shelter also to this great devotee, Srinivasa Acharya. Wasn't Acharya that time, Srinivasa. So they were eager, and at one time, Lord Nityananda's consort, Janananda, she went to Vrindavan. Nityananda is long gone. But she went to Vrindavan, and she met the Goswamis, who said, please tell this devotee Srinivasa, who's in Bengal, he must come quickly. We do not know how longer we're going to stay. So she returned to Bengal and told Narahari, and Narahari said, you've got to leave right now, quickly, to Vrindavan. So he set off to Vrindavan. Exciting story. There were no trains and planes in those days. You had to be marching to Vrindavan. So Narottam, and as was fate had it, he stopped on the way innumerable times to visit other devotees of Lord Chaitanya in Varanasi, and here and there the devotees were scattered, and he took a long time reaching Vrindavan. And just when you reach Vrindavan, before you reach Vrindavan, you come to a city called Mathura. When he reached Mathura, he got news that Rupa and Sanatana had passed away a few days earlier. Oh no, this is, you can imagine how you felt. This is too much, one after the next. He was about to give up his life. He just what's the use without the association of these devotees. Somehow or another, this was going on. But then Rupa Sanatana appeared and said, no. They were happy he didn't come over. They said, don't worry, you go now on to Vrindavan, take shelter of Jiva Goswami and Gopalbhatta Goswami. They are waiting for you in Vrindavan. So we went on to Vrindavan, and sure enough, he met Gopalbhatta Goswami, who gave him shelter, gave him initiation. In one sense, Lord Chaitanya initiated him in Puri before he was born by giving his name. Officially, he took initiation from Gopalbhatta Goswami into the chanting of the holy name, etc. And Gopalbhatta Goswami put him under the shelter of Jiva Goswami. They're all members of the Goswami, the great devotees of Lord Chaitanya. So Jiva Goswami was giving him, as well as Narottam Das and Shyamananda Pandit and others, direction. Jiva Goswami is the most learned of all the great Vaishnavas. Incredible learning. Even any philosopher who knows anything at all knows that Jiva Goswami is the greatest philosopher who ever lived. I saw the sign in London in the University of Asian and Oriental Studies. Big sign. The works of Jiva Goswami, one of the greatest, even they said one, didn't say the, one of the greatest philosophers the world has ever known. And his writings. But if you really look at it, he's the greatest philosopher. No one can compare. Incredible. So they were taking, learning. Not that they didn't know, it was just the way they receive that knowledge in that way. So after some time, Jiva Goswami, with the permission of Gopalbhatta, wanted to send Srinivasa back to Bengal to preach. What? By now many Sanskrit literatures have been written in different Bengali also, in different languages. We're ready, completely, we're ready. The Goswamis have completed so many volumes of Vaishnava literature. So together with Narottam and Shyamananda, Jiva Goswami arranged the first traveling Sankirtan party, say, practically speaking, at least with books. They arranged a big casket to put all these many volumes of literature, big golden casket, silk ribbons and so on. A big cart, bullock cart, to pull them down to Bengal, and there was guards, 10 guards along the way, all the papers from the King of Jaipur to give them clearance to cross over various tolls and barriers, whatever it is, so they could go unimpeded to Bengal. So they set off, great festival. This is a great event. The Sankirtan party is leaving for preaching the message of Godhead. And they were getting very close to Bengal. Very close. They came to an area called Vishnupur. It's right on the border of Bengal kingdom. And there was one king there called King Birhambir. This king was an unusual king. He was a kind of devotee, but he was a bit of a dacoit at the same time. And he had many dacoits, a band of dacoits, bandits basically, who would hijack pilgrims and take all of their wealth and bring it back to the king. Not usual behavior of a devotee, you could say, but this was like just something in his nature. And he had astrologers, expert astrologers, and they could tell any pilgrims coming through his kingdom what they had with them. And so when Srinivasa, Narottam and Janananda came into the kingdom, or near the kingdom, his astrologers said, what's something happening here, king? There's some pilgrims coming here. They have got, my goodness, what they got with them is more valuable than diamonds according to what we can see here. We've never seen anyone with such valuable treasures in their possession. It's incredible. And immeasurable wealth they have. King got quite excited. Hare Krishna. Yeah. And he sent 200 dacoits to trail after them. They followed to find the right time. They weren't like, people who come in chop them off the head. They would take everything, in little discreetly when you're, what I call too much harm to people. They were expert at that. So they waited. They followed very, very discreetly for some time. Then they found the right time when the party of Srinivasa and the others, one night they took rest. Tissues, please.
Tissues? Yeah.
Oh, tissues to the rescue. Agni Day Prabhu to the rescue.
Always.
Yes. Yes, you're always there to release. Prabhupada's representative to rescue us. So they saw that one night, they watched them. And one by one, by the arrangement of the Lord, we might say, they all fell asleep. The party of Srinivasa. All the guards fell asleep, all 10 of them. And the third pilgrims were asleep too. And the 2 bullock cart men fell asleep. And the whole party was sound asleep. Now was their chance. So in went the dacoits, and they stole the casket. And happily they took it back to the king. And when they reached the king's palace in Vishnupur, they were very excited to see what's inside this casket. Can you imagine? They broke open the casket. They took the silk cloth off, expecting to see, some incredible jewels inside. What is this? What is it? What is this? These are manuscripts, papers. Where are the jewels? Then he started reading. He saw the name Rupa Goswami. He started reading. Oh no. Oh no. What have we done? These are writings of great saints that we stole. didn't know what to do. He was very worried. He kept them locked up in a special room, wondering what would happen. He was feeling very remorseful. And that night he was feeling so bad. But in that dream, Srinivasa appeared. Well, he didn't know it was Srinivasa. It was maybe Srinivasa. But a very tall, effulgent person appeared in his dream. Said, don't worry. Don't worry. I will come very soon. And I will deliver you. So he had this hope that somehow or another something was going to happen. Meanwhile, when the pilgrims awoke Srinivasa night, you can imagine how they felt. And they saw that just on the border, and all the books had gone. Just on the border of Bengal. Oh no. This is a fate worse than death. To go back to Vrindavan, rewrite them maybe, and so many things. Huge task. Terrible. And maybe the same thing will happen again, who knows? They were really heartbroken. But Srinivas, maybe by the inspiration of the Lord, said, don't worry, you go ahead, I will stay here to recover these books. So he did, he stayed in that area, he was going around. He met one time one Brahmin, I don't know his name, Krishna. He met one Brahmin who lived near the city, and they became great friends. They were like brothers. And this Krishna Baba, or whatever his name was, took shelter of Srinivas because like his guru. And he said, why don't you come? Because they were talking about Bhagavad. Why don't you come with me? In the local city, there's a king named Maharaja, and every day he has Bhagavatam recital in his court. There's one Acharya called Acharya, his name was Acharya. He was a pandit, court pandit. Every day he's speaking Bhagavatam. Shall we go and listen? Okay, very good. They went off to listen. Day after day, Srinivasa was listening to this Vyasacharya explaining the Bhagavatam, but this Vyasacharya was not explaining it properly. He was speculating. But Srinivasa didn't say much until about 10 days. They were going every morning. Then he said, excuse me, please, but you're speaking on these topics, but you're not speaking properly. You're not referring to Sridhar Swami, the original commentator. You're making up your own commentary here. This is wrong. Vyasacharya got quite disturbed. Quite disturbed. He said, who are you? You upstart just coming here? Who do you think to challenge me? I am the court Acharya. You to tell me what's right and wrong? If you know better, you start speaking. So then the king said, looked at the king. The king said, let him speak. And he spoke. And everyone was astonished at Srinivasacharya's explanation. The king asked him, please come back tomorrow. Even Vyasacharya had to back up. And the king said, please come back tomorrow and discuss more. So they came back the next morning and Srinivasa spoke in such a way the whole court was completely convinced and captivated from the king down. Everyone was convinced. The king fell at his feet, begging for shelter. Begging. And said, what can I do for you? Please give me service. So Srinivasa said, well actually, when I came to your kingdom, we were on a mission. We were taking books of our great Goswamis in Vrindavan, our Acharyas, to Bengal for preaching. But somehow these books, these caskets of the books was stolen on journey in your kingdom. If you somehow could help me to retrieve these, this would be your greatest action. He wanted to take initiation. He, his wife, Vyasacharya, everybody, the whole family, in fact, eventually the whole kingdom took initiation. And he said, could you please help me retrieve it? The king fell sobbing on the ground, holding the feet of Srinivasa. I am the greatest sinner. It is I who have stolen these scriptures. I'm lower than a worm in stool, he was going. I'm such a wretch. Srinivasa said, no, don't. Everything's, just by taking complete shelter with this attitude, everything is okay. And immediately he took him to show him the scriptures, and there they were, all intact. All intact. And then the king said, but there's one wonderful thing. All I can say in my defense is if I hadn't done this, I would have never met you. My life would have been useless. Somehow or another. And Srinivasa said, actually, you're my eternal servant, don't worry. He said, oh, not by chance. He stayed there a long time, initiated everyone, converted the whole kingdom. Vishnupur became a complete Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava kingdom. And then eventually Srinivasa moved on to Bengal, joined up again with Narottam. They arranged this incredible festival in Keturi, famous festival. So Narottam Srinivasa was very famous for this Mahashur, what's it called, that type of kirtan? Srinivasa's kirtan, it was very famous, Mahashur something, very famous kirtan style. One of the most famous things that Srinivasa has renowned for, plus retrieving these literatures, etc., and delivering pain behind beer. And he got married. Maharaja Shankar asked him to get married. He was still there in Bengal. He got married. He had amazing kids. They all became acharyas. 3 daughters, Hemlata, Krishna Priya, I forgot the other one's name. They all became acharyas, his daughters. They all initiated. They had many thousands of followers. They wrote this in Ramchandra Kaviraj, many others. Doesn't say exactly, but it infers they were practically initiated by Srinivasa, and then they themselves initiated. His own wife, I don't know, it doesn't say again, it infers that she also took initiation from him. She also initiated. It was dynamite spreading of Krishna consciousness with every qualification. It wasn't a question of gender or whatever. They were in line with the qualification. They were pure associates of the Lord also, eternal associates. In this way, there's not much said about Srinivasa's departure. He went to Vrindavan again and came back to Bengal. You'll see his samadhi there in Vrindavan. Dear Samir area of Vrindavan, Srinivasa Acharya's samadhi is there, along with Ramchandra Kaviraj, Hemlata Thakuran, and other followers also. Wonderful. So he continued to preach in Bengal and inspire others to. Hare Krishna. A little bit about Srinivasa. Famous song by Srinivasa Acharya. Who knows the song? Yes, Goswami has to come. Nana Shastra Vicharanai Kanipano Sadharana Samstapako Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyo Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyo Koro Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghushalo Shri Jiva 8 verses. This is one of the famous ones. Such an important song. These songs which these great